Make it to 2024, go to bed early. End of story. We're done.
Yeah.
This week on the pod, y'all, we're talking about what we're doing for 2023. We've all got some hot opinions, so let's go. Who wants to get going?
Who's already done their 2023 planning, Michelle?
Well, I have. Okay. I actually, look, I got a plan, y'all. You know, I got a few plans and a bunch of planners and all the other stuff. Okay. So, I spent some time kind of figuring out what I wanted to do. I revisited stuff and then I was like, okay, what worked? And now I'm like, all right, now let's go ahead and see what we're going to do. So the main plan is to figure out all of my pillar content that I want to put out, figure out when they're going to happen, which I kind of pretty much laid those out already, and then figure out how to backfill and lead to said pillar. I'm a bit more organized. And the one thing that I did learn from last year was what I did last year, how it worked. So I'm hoping that that lightning will be in a bottle again. However, I'm going to have a whole lot more thunder, hopefully, to be able to push through everything. So every quarter, I'm going to have some form of a blitz where I'm doing something every day, some sort of a challenge or something like that. And then backfill what I'm going to be doing weekly. I already pretty much have some of those things laid out and the themes for each month. I kind of also want to get back into some of the things that I was doing before when I had my second channel, because I kind of want to revive that in the process. And because I really love the things that I did on that channel, and my community, they've been sending me messages saying, "Hey, where have you been? We don't know where you are. How you doing?" So I plan to, get the paddles and clear, and then, resurrect that one, because that channel actually has more subscribers than the one that I'm growing. And so I want to get back to that and try to see where I'm going with that. So lots of planning happening, lots of Trello boards being created. As a matter of fact, I made another Trello board today, and then figuring out how the distribution of all of that will happen as well. The other thing that for me, that I'm not going to fall into this trap that I did before, where I'm scrambling at the last minute trying to do something, that kind of stress I cannot deal with. I cannot. So ergo planning, so that I could be so far ahead that I have a little breathing room and it doesn't feel like, oh my goodness, I'm going to shit a brick if I have to go try to figure something out, So, so that's kind of what I've been up to. I've been writing feverishly into my brand new planner. Oh, which also affiliate stuff. I'm going to be going hard on affiliate stuff and kind of filling in the gaps, because we got 52 weeks. We got 52 weeks to plan for, and so I already pretty much know what I'm going to do for Black Friday. I already know what I'm going to be doing on every full moon, because that was a thing on my other channel. I did Moonlight Madness, and trying to figure out ways to assimilate what I was doing on my other channel and see how I could relate it to branding using some of those other things that's, authentically me. And then I don't know, it just, to me, it's like, oh, and I'm also going to launch an Etsy business too. So, I got plans. I got plans. I can't wait.
That's cool. It sounds like you've got a lot of it figured out. What happens when curveballs hit? I mean, you should adjust, or do you have backup plans, or do you?
Well, the backup plan is to fall back if I need to, I started to do this last year though, but I wasn't far enough ahead so that, I could feel like I didn't have the pressure, right? The pressure comes when it's like, oh my goodness, I know I'm going live on Sunday, but it's 3:30 on Sunday afternoon, and I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
Yeah. I bet I don't know what you're talking about.
Right. So, we ain't doing that this year. We're not doing that. Okay. It's going to be already planned out. So I'm looking forward to
That's
that.
cool. Who else? Anybody else got any big revelations for the new year?
I think it's the big learning for me was that randomization, that chaos is just not going to fly in 2023. I'm still going to have chaos. I can accept that, but I feel you, Michelle. So many people text me on Thursday mornings. What are we cooking tonight? I don't know, and I need to stop not knowing. But I know that this is secondary to the corporate job. So I can't be really tied to a strict, this is what I'm absolutely doing this week. And, sometimes I don't make it to the grocery store. So having a very tight schedule isn't necessarily going to work for me. So what I'm looking at is ensuring that I know what my content pillars are, the cooking, the gardening, behind the scenes, and home place stuff. And then I'm trying to figure out how to do probably 60% of nurturing the existing audience, 30% search driven. So it would be growth oriented. And then probably 10% that would be selling in some way, shape, or form. And then I'm going to plan for the big stuff. So I should know by October what my Christmas week stream is going to be about, or that content for that week. By January 1st, I should decide if I'm going to do anything specific for Super Bowl, that kind of thing. So the bigs, I want to plan for those. And then the other goal that I'm thinking about how I'm going to do is monetization. I need to make more than $5 on content creation in 2023. So how much? I don't know. I do want to put a goal because I think it's too easy to just not do anything, but I also don't have control over, a number that happens. So I'm a bit torn on that. I want a goal because without one, I'm not striving for anything. But with one, I need to not sit back on my laurels if I hit it and not beat myself up if I don't. So that's going to be a fine balance as I come into 2023, is deciding what that number is going to be.
Yeah. Go ahead.
For me, the content plan that I've sort of mapped out, by the end of the first quarter, I want that to just be second nature. That it's just, it's all populated and filling out like months in advance. So at the moment, I'm in the process of, I've got my podcast obviously all recorded going through till mid-February at this point. So there's the other content that I need to do in terms of getting that all done. That's going to be next week and the first couple of weeks in January to start creating all of that so that I've got that big buffer. But then there's going to be the sort of pivot in 2023 to more of a subscription model to my courses. I've got another 12 courses now mapped out. It would be nice to think that I could be releasing one of those a month. So that's giving a lot of incentive for people who are on a subscription model. But likely, I might get 7 out in the year, if I'm honest. So I haven't set a target of a course a month or anything like that. But making that sort of pivot to that model is going to be like a top priority. But actually getting the content plan sorted out and all of the scheduling of stuff, the whole reason for doing that is so that I have got more clear time. Because I find with creating the course content, mapping it out and all that kind of stuff, I can do here and there in batches. But when it comes to actually creating the series of videos, I am far more productive at creating a course where I literally just sit down and make the course in like a few days. I mean, the eCam course, I sat down and it took me, I guess, about 10 days with a weekend off in the middle to actually sit down and record it all. So that's the best way that I find to make the courses. Otherwise, I kind of forget the thread of where I was up to or things that I referenced previously. And I suppose that comes down to I should probably document the videos more than I do for my own purposes. But it's just by the nature of the way that I do it. I have a plan of overall what the topics are going to be, and then I just go through all the videos one after another. And I don't have like an outline of the video, for example. So I need to have it all fresh in my mind to make the thing as one complete cohesive package. Basically.
I know this hasn't happened to you a lot yet because those courses are still pretty new, but how much work do you anticipate having to do when they release new versions? Like I know we're running this beta now that's eventually going to be live and you'll have to redo that course.
So eCam, yeah, I'm actually thinking of completely redoing the eCam course because it is almost easier to go and do that. And there's other things now that I would want to add into it as well. So for example, there's a whole section in there on audio setup and things like that. And I talked about my audio setup at the time. Now I will talk about my current setup because it's changed a lot and the way that I'm doing things has changed. I'll also put in more leads into other course content, bearing in mind now that it's going to be I will still have them as standalone courses that people can buy, but if they are on a subscription model, then I want to lead through to other specific courses. So if I talk about audio in the Rodecaster in the audio section of the eCam course, then I want to have that link in to say, and there's also the Rodecaster course, which you've got access to as part of the subscription. So making those links so that all of the courses, they're all kind of interlinked. They all make sense as one big thing. And so making sure I've got those links in. So I'm in the process of updating a lot of my Zoom stuff at the moment as it is. So that's all intended to be the same thing. I want it to ultimately just be one massive big thing. There was I forget who it was that Keeley posted a link to the way that they were structuring things. I forget exactly who it was now, but the creator who did that, where they were creating sort of learning paths for people as well. I really like that idea where you've got multiple different courses where someone comes in with a particular goal in mind. If they want to use all the stuff that I talk about on my channel for business, then, well, maybe they don't need to, learn about YouTube. I've got a YouTube course that I'll be making, like a mini course about that. Maybe they're not interested in that one. So then there's a specific course path for people to go through. Whereas if people are into content creation specifically for YouTube, then maybe it's more like the eCam, the YouTube, and that side of stuff. Or if they're more into just business productivity, then the productivity course that I'm doing will feed into that one. So having these different paths for people to go through, I'm going to be thinking a lot more about how to structure that. Likely that will come in the sort of second half of the year, or just for the amount of time that I know I'm going to have to put into thinking about it with everything else I'm doing. I'm going to be focused on having a big body of content there first before I start figuring out individual paths for people and stuff like that. I also want to increase the number of ongoing coaching clients that I've got. So I've basically got 3 people at the moment that I'm working with on an ongoing basis that's out for months in advance, that we've made an arrangement with how much time we spend and stuff like that. I really like that, to have some sort of one-to-one time with people where you can see a clear arc for people. And sorry, my monitor just dropped out there. Having a clear arc for people where you can sort of help them along that process. So I want to open up a couple more slots for that. Not too much, because it obviously takes time, and when you're one-to-one rather than one-to-many, then it's not necessarily an effective use of your time. But I really do enjoy that, helping people with a specific thing over a series of months and helping them in that way. So opening up a few more slots for that and actually promoting it as a thing, because up to now it's just been by request basically. But actually promoting that as a particular tier in my offerings of membership and so on.
Cool. Sounds ambitious. What about you, Keely?
Cool.
Well, I'm still in the process of nailing everything down, but this is what it's going to sort of look like for me. With FH Umpires, over the next year, I will be nailing down my course content for a 3-level academy, which allows people to get what the equivalent is at most every national association. I think I now have the experience of understanding what people are trying to get their umpires to at the 3 main levels. There are commonalities, there's universal standards, and I'm going to have a educational curriculum that allows people to achieve those standards. And if I should be able to persuade some national associations to say, here, take this. You don't have to run your own anymore. Take this, and your people on the ground can instead be working with your umpires to coach them, to assess them, to be there instead of running these courses. That's what FH Umpires is for. That's happening over this next year. by September, I want to be able to walk in. There's a big annual conference that goes on in England, and they're having a big like anniversary, blah, blah, blah celebration, inviting all the alumni like myself there. And I want to walk in September and be able to announce the first phase of the Web3 version of an FH Umpires membership, which will be a token model. So that's long-term year planning for FH Umpires. To support what I'm doing with that, I will need to continue with the consistency of the live streams as I have been doing. But I am going to be writing on Twitter and LinkedIn to support, because now I'm looking to target not just individual umpires, but to actually go after more like a B2B model, which means I'm not looking at just, people floating by on YouTube and wanting a question about umpiring answered, that these are people who are looking for big solutions to big problems that FH Umpires is going to provide. With Discord for Creators, I am not going to be pursuing live streaming with that. I need to instead focus on short videos that are about 3 minutes long and writing on Twitter and LinkedIn. So, and Twitter is like Twitter if it hasn't exploded, right? And if Twitter explodes, then it's just LinkedIn. Like, let's get this, clear. I understand what we're up against with that whole thing. So I am not putting my eggs all in the Twitter basket, but they're still going in the LinkedIn basket because they might be boring, but they're stable. They're still there.
Yep.
Anyway, so it's going to be a lot more turning to writing, which I think is actually going to be kind of cool because that's where my real skill set is. Video has been very, very much outside of my comfort zone for the last few years, and being able to get back to writing is going to be kind of fun. And that means that the first thing that I have to do in Q1 to support that, and sorry, just to finish up with Discord for Creators, instead of thinking about how am I going to monetize, run courses, blah, 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 no, I'm just going to be establishing my authority and credibility in that and continue with that. That's where I am with that business. So let's not get ahead of ourselves. That's what I'm going to be doing. But in order to support all of that, I need to hire an editor. So if you are a person in the community who would like to work with a weirdo like me and you love to video edit, get on the horn. Give me a call, because I now understand that none of my objectives and goals can be met if I do not have that assistance, and it has to happen now. So that's where I'm at with 2023 planning. And I'm going to go quarter by quarter, other than what I've just said about FH Umpires, because I've got like a 5-year plan for that stuff. That's different. Mm-hmm. I've been doing it for long enough.
Yeah.
Planning for next year has already started for me, in the sense that there is the healthcare company planning that I always have to do at the end of the year. It's just this time it's, figuring out what my future is and doing what I'm doing right now, and how do I handle that. Part of that is coaching physicians on starting telemedicine businesses. Part of that is helping a friend start a telemedicine business. And then obviously just my day job. So those things are kind of important to me, just in the fact that those are the things that pay for all the fun stuff that I get to do. I've still, they don't tell you this, but when you run for office, you've still got another 3 or 4 months of filing paperwork and closing bank accounts and other things involved. So there's that. And so I have to focus on getting that closed out by mid-January. But other than that, once those things, once the campaign's closed out, once I get the initial planning done for the medicine thing, then my, the worldview opens up for me, and I'll have a lot more time. But, and I think, part of this is, part of my mood right now is, it's the holidays, and I'm trying to get 12 different things done that are family related too. So I'm just trying to keep my blood pressure low and take things one day at a time and get, and my big thing today is I moved furniture and I take that as a win. So, I'm sure my head will
Cool.
be, I'm taking all next week off and I'm doing nothing but what I want to do.
Keely, you mentioned a conference a minute ago. Is anybody else going to conferences? You got anything else going on travel wise?
I actually saw something today that I am so interested in. Jasper is having a conference and they have
Where?
the early tickets. It's in San Francisco and it's on
Cool.
Valentine's Day. So it's in my
Oh,
birthday
man.
month. I know, right? I know.
Well,
So explain that to your spouse. So I'm going to a conference on Valentine's Day. Right. So anyway, yeah, so Jasper's having a conference. It's just a 1-day conference.
yeah.
And they've got early bird tickets. Let's see. I also want to go. I've always wanted to go to Social Media Marketing World. But then
When is
all
that?
that
Is
stuff,
that in March or April?
it's somewhere around, it's close. I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I've always wanted to go there. So I can meet just meet people and just to be in the mix of things
Right.
at Social Media Marketing World.
I've got an industry thing second week of January in Vegas. And then I've got another industry thing in Fort Worth, which is right down the street. And then there's a few hit and miss, hotel kind of events that are local to here that I'll do. But other than that, I mean, I haven't flown anywhere in so long. It's going to be fun.
Oh, I just got back from Chicago. So, in that event, they still claim it's like the second largest medical conference in the world, but there were 65,000 people there. And, it's always interesting. This is like the 15th year I've done this particular show. It revolves around radiology. And, I think that, I got a couple of pieces of business out of it. One of those pieces of business just sent me the signed agreement this morning.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Do you think that show the numbers are back to where they were?
No, absolutely not. And one of the things about it, it's the title is the Radiologic Society of North America, but the reality is it's a worldwide conference.
Yeah.
And doctors come in for training for CME, which is continuing medical education credits. Mm-hmm. But I don't think that there are people, and you would see people from all over the world, all different languages, all different. It was a cornucopia of different people, and it's not back to that yet. And there are just large swaths of the world that are not traveling to the United States right now for one reason or another. And so I've seen as many as 85,000 people at the show. And a lot of the companies that display there use it as like an annual sales meeting. So, GE or Fuji will bring in everybody from around the world to be at this particular show. And then afterward, they'll have meetings for a couple of days. So it's always fun. It's always interesting. I get to see my old friends, people that I used to work with, make some connections. People see that I'm still alive, considering what happened to me in last October with the heart attack. More than one person walked up to me like, "You're still alive." Yeah, I'm still alive.
Damn.
But it's fun to go, but at the same time, it's right after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
You have to fly out the Saturday of Thanksgiving weekend, and you're back Wednesday or Thursday, and that always falls on my wife's birthday. So there's other. If you want to talk about Valentine's Day, I think I've missed, in the 24 years I've been married to my wife, I think I've missed 18 of her birthdays.
Jeez.
And I'm still married. So there's that. But trade shows, I think that they've, for the purposes of that one, it has a good infrastructure. It has a good history. There's a reason people go to it. The educational credits are very important. You get a wide variety of people teaching different techniques. But most of the ones I go to are worthless. You sit in a lobby of a hotel and wait for people to come out of classes, and you don't sell anything.
Yeah.
So I'm actually much happier. In 2011, I traveled 250,000 miles, and this year I think I've traveled 10,000. So I'm a happier person.
I haven't been to a trade show to sell stuff to people in 100 years, but because I go as an attendee, as a customer, and people are trying to sell me. So I love it
Yeah.
because I'm getting wine and dined and people buying drinks and dinner and all that stuff. It's really, and you're learning a lot, and you're meeting people you know that you hope will help you out when stuff shits the bed in March after you place a big order with them and they drop the ball or who knows what. So you try to make those kind of connections that'll help you.
And it's very important that you meet people face to face. Absolutely.
Yeah.
When stuff like that. I mean, the people that signed this morning, I got to sit with at a table for an hour and just talk to them. And I think that's really the reason. Fun part of the story is they had gone to one of my competitors' booths that were around the corner from me and had taken a business card from them. And at the very end of our meeting, one of the gentlemen got up, took the business card out, ripped that business card up, and threw it away in my garbage when he said goodbye to me.
Right in front of your face. That's cool.
Right in front of my face. And I'm like, one of the other sales guys saw that and went, hey, there you go.
Yeah, that's cool. Before 2022, I was going to try to ramp up my content for that new thing I was starting. And because this current promo business was kind of, I don't want to say it was dying, but I could see that it was not going to recover. A couple months into the year, I realized it is going to recover and it's actually fine. And we are this year now finally at pre-2020 numbers. So it's very encouraging. I think the content has helped a lot. I don't know that. The numbers don't show that, but I do have people telling me they've seen it or they know it or they recognize it. I'm also being recognized by the industry. So that's kind of cool. Because I wasn't doing a lot of that public facing stuff before. So I think going forward, I'm just going to put myself out there more and just in the business I'm in. Maybe I'll resurrect the consulting thing. I don't know, but we've just did a skeleton transplant on our operations by putting HubSpot in and getting rid of Salesforce. So, and I'm hoping we can use that to make things go a little better and to be in touch with the customers we have without having to do a whole lot of outbound advertising and PPC ads and all that kind of stuff. So, try to cultivate what we already have in the can as far as instead of attracting all kinds of new business that may or may not stick around. Because it's easier to keep a customer and to make more money off one customer than go get new ones.
Yeah.
They
Amen.
say. But anyway.
And I would agree with that. I would.
Yeah.
I mean, the growth that's happened in my company, my day 9 to 5, the growth is internal. It's everybody that we already have as a customer has grown 20, 30%. So I haven't, do I go out and sell? Do I still close stuff? Yes. But my current client load has grown as well. So
I think that works for all of us here. I mean, everybody who has a customer, even if they're on an email list and they're not buying anything, they're still a customer. So once they have the know, like, and trust, it's easier to approach them to do something with them money-wise later, or even just to put more stuff out there, just to add more like know, like, and trust to it. I guess.
I have a big trip planned as well. Other than the conference in September in England, is that I'm hopping over to Amsterdam over Easter. But I'm actually going to sandwich time in England before and after because I can do a stopover on my points trip. And we're going to the European Hockey League finals. And when I say we're doing a development group with some of my favorite members of my community. I'm super excited about this. This has been very much a project driven by them. They're like,
Are you going to meet the Discord kids?
Yeah. I'm
and their little wooden shoes and all that kind of stuff. That'll be fun.
Yes, I'll be meeting everybody. Actually, I mean, the majority of people going, I think, are going to be coming over from England anyway. But we're going to be hopping over there and then watching and doing educational activities and maybe a slight bit of imbibing and socializing during the 4 days of the tournament and then coming back over. But I'm going to sandwich business and actually the weekend before the EHL is the last weekend of matches, regular scheduled matches in the National League in England. So I'm gonna go find a few of the people in my community. I'm gonna go and watch them in person and be able to give them some encouragement and maybe a little bit of coaching while I'm there. So I'm really
really
excited
cool.
about that. Yeah.
really
Like
cool.
I mean, I haven't been able to see any of these people ever in real life. And so being able to hang out with them, and the fact that it's not just that I'm like, I want to hang out with you guys. They're like, we want to hang out with you, and we all want to do this together. And this is very much their request, their project, their activity. I'm tag along. They're doing the planning. I'm just showing up. I just gave them my flights. I booked them yesterday or the day before. And I'm like, I'll be there. Let's go. Let's do some stuff. So it's going to be really, really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Meeting your internet friends in real life is fun. I had a good time when I met Doc and Katie and all those eCamp people. It was really at the pod.
Hi, Michelle, girl.
Oh, girl, hey.
Hi, girl, hey.
We just all need to get on a slow boat to Thailand one day.
Yeah. Okay.
So Catch 22 Con, let's talk more about that. What's happening? Are we going to nail this one down?
We can. I mean, Vid Summit, I already bought a ticket to Vid Summit, but it's right in my backyard. So
yeah.
Hurry before that price increases.
I don't know. It's that
The day
timer's
before
been
the
on
event.
0 for a couple months now. So I think,
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like living dangerously. I feel like giving it to halfway through January and see what happens.
Yeah.
TikTok.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I got
Hilarious.
on that for sure. I bought it like 30 minutes before the timer ran out. And it still hasn't changed. Gee whiz.
Has
Anyway,
it run out though? If it's at 0 and it just stays there, it has the time?
I don't know. I don't know what the rules are. But yeah, that's Vid Summit in October. October, I think. So I'll be at that if anyone wants to come. Stay at my house.
Woohoo! Party riches.
Kegger at my mom's house.
I think this is going to be a big year for all of us. I think things are really going to change in terms of how things look, because this past year has been recovery, right? And we've been, we're not really sure how are we going to get out of this whole panini thing, and how's it going to affect our businesses, and where are we going to get to? And I think we all feel a lot more confident about what pivots we've needed to make, or how we've just been able to reinvest in what we're currently doing. And now it's all right. We can actually go outside and get on a plane.
We just have to live with it. And this is part of life. And it's just the way it's going to happen. And it's the way it is. And it's unfortunate, but there's nothing we can do about it.
I can't even commit to that, to be honest, because I may well have some global movements going on of my own that I don't know when it's going to all pan out or what's going to happen with that. So I can't really commit to anything like that at this stage. So I'm not committing to any conferences or anything like that as well.
Just a side note, are you still thinking about moving to the UK or not?
Potentially, but nothing is nailed down for that yet. So there's a lot of moving parts there. So that's the reason I'm not committing to any conferences or anything. I'd love to get out to some. I'd love to, obviously, primary one would be our meetup, but even just some of the other ones, I'd love to get to some of those.
Sure.
But just not nailing anything down yet.
And you're not allowed to move until I've been able to come visit you there, because I've always wanted to go to Thailand. And I think it would be so much fun to be able to see it with you guys and with your family. And just, I think that would be great. So I'm sorry, but you're just not going to be able to move until I say so.
In my YouTube weirdness, in my playlists, all of a sudden I start seeing a lot of like what it costs to live in Thailand videos. And these guys going through these absolutely gorgeous apartment towers. And it's like, yes, look, this 2-bedroom, 1-bath is $1,200 a month. And you're like, what? So yeah, it's, I showed my wife one and she looked at me and was like, we're not moving to Thailand. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Tell you what, bowl of crickets sounds great.
Just pick the legs off first, otherwise they get stuck in your teeth.
January is going to be my birthday, and I just want you to all worship me for changing it to another year and not dying. I think that's the important part, is that I have not died for a whole nother year. I've tried.
You did try.
So, summary then, plan for 2023 is to reach 2024.
Right, exactly. And that's, when you get to a certain point in your life, you're like, hey, look, another year. Now, granted, I will be on New Year's Day or New Year's Eve. I'll probably be in bed by 10.
That's how we roll.
Yes, that's how we roll. So, yes, be thankful that you made it another year and work on living another year past that. Everything else is gravy.
Thanks for hopping into our Creators Pod. If you enjoyed it, we'd love if you would subscribe and leave a review wherever you get your podcasts and tell a friend about it. Check out the video version on our YouTube channel, Creators Pod. The Creators Pod is produced by C22 Media, Dina Taylor, Keely Dunn, Michelle Lawrence, Rich Graham, Rob Vaules, and me, Alec Johnson. Thanks for listening.
I am going to punch somebody in the throat, I swear. Stop.